So guys, I made a tier list. So I made a tier list of every MCC. The order is kind of weird here, but I'll make sure to go in the right order. I don't know why. The order was fine when I did it. It's just now they're all of a sudden just like all fucky wucky. Stupid, I know, right? By the way, I made an MCC tier list, baby. So let us get into it. I am excited. So basically, I'm going to be rating every MCC that I've ever watched. So MCC 1, 2, 3, and Jingle Jam will be skipped, because I didn't watch those. And I've reacted to all these except MCC 4, which I will be rating MCC 4, though, because I did watch it. I just didn't react to it. And all my other reactions are up on my second channel, which is this channel. Playlist is in the iCards above right now. So let's get into it. So first off, we have MCC 4. This was an A-tier MCC. I got to watch Technoblade's POV and watch him win. It probably would have been S-tier at the time, because it's such a fun MCC, probably the best one of its time. But looking at it in the present, it was okay. I mean, they had a good chance. The team they were fighting were pretty weak, not gonna lie. Plus, back then, Dodgebolt was first to 2 wins, not first to 3 wins. So, yeah, it was pretty cool. MCC overall, give it an A for sure. Next, we have MCC 5. This was Tommy in it. I was watching his POV a little bit. And you made it to Dodgebolt with Pete. Was Vic on his team too? Yeah, Vic. Oh, yeah, the entertaining Vic and Tommy. So this is before Tommy was famous. Yes, I knew Tommy before he was famous. I'm legendary. I tell all the girls at my freaking schools now that I was an OG fan. Tommy had a fun time with Vic Star in that. Yeah, it's definitely a high B for sure. It was a chill MCC, and they ended up not winning, sadly. But congratulations to those who did win. Then we have MCC 6. This was a huge MCC, mostly because of the arrival of Dream, as well as the arrival of Grian as well. Pearl joined too. It was a pretty big MCC for MCC. So definitely give it an A. So remember Pete's teammate to Dodgebolt, and they sadly lost. I was rooting for them. I was like, no. But yeah, none of the teams I was watching made it to Dodgebolt majorly. Then we have MCC 7. This was a good MCC for sure. I'd give it a B as well. High B though. I'm actually going to be ranking these in order, by the way, of like place. Like I'm actually going to have whatever's the front of B is actually the front of B, not just equal to each other, you know? So MCC 7 was the first time Green had streamed it. There was a lot of errors, though. Yeah, they had to reset Battle Box. It was terrible. I remember I was watching Dream, Techno, and Green, and Dream almost rage quit. Like, that's how bad it was, because his team lost points because they did well in Battle Box. And like, oh, Batman's like, we're going to redo the entire game, or whatever. Technoblade's team made it to Dodgebolt, but lost to Pete's team. And yeah, I think it's actually a lower B now. I thought about it more. And by the way, this was in July of 2020. I was actually at my grandparents' house when this happened. It was like my last day. So I gotta watch it in my grandparents' house. It was pretty fun. Then we have MCC 8. This was August of 2020. It was a fun MCC. Dream and Technoblade being teamed up was an overpowered combo, I will admit. And they won. And I was pretty happy to see him win. But yeah, I'd say it's definitely a lower A. I think it's actually worse than 6, surprisingly. Like, it's fun seeing them win, but they had an OP team. Like, seriously. And Burn, Michael McChill, I think Burn did actually really well in Dodgeball, so it really wasn't as balanced as everyone thought it was. Then we have MCC 9, S tier. So this was so many fun teams this time, dude. There was Agreeing with all the British boys. Techno was there, too. Blue Bats, Fruit, H-Bomb, Ren, and False coming in with the epic reverse sweep. No one expected them to win against Green Guardians, which was like Eret, Curtsy, George, and Sapnap. Sapnap was actually pretty bad back then. This was the best MCC for the time, and everyone loves this MCC. Except there were a few Dream fans that were mad about Sapnap and George losing. I don't blame you, though. This was in September of 2020. Early September 2020. And then we have MCC 10, which was late September 2020. That's the smallest gap ever between two canon MCCs, by the way. It was literally a 2-week gap. And I thought a 3-week gap for some MCCs was kind of a small gap, but 2 weeks? Jeez. I mean, technically, MCC 17 and MCC Rising, were also 2 weeks apart, but Rising was non-canon. This was literally between two canon events. And that was because 2 of the teams were actually fan teams. So yeah, a lot of people were swapped out. Green wasn't in it and stuff like that. So I watched a lot of False's POV. False was with Cub, Smallish, and Pete as well. And there was also some other fun teams. Technoblade's team, Dream's team. Dream was with Solidarity, George, and Count Puffy. It's funny seeing Solidarity team up with those guys. You think that usually doesn't happen in MCC. And then they made it to Dodgebolt. Smallish, I'll call him Joel, I guess, versus Lizzie. He literally fought his wife in Dodgebolt, and he won, making False the champion of both September events, and the first 2-in-a-row winner people have won more than 2 events before, but she was the first person to win 2 events back to back, and surprisingly in the same month too. And so Scott knew he had to nerf her after that, and he did that next MCC. So that was overall an high A tier MCC. This probably would be the highest A tier. It's not S tier because they didn't get reverse sweep. They didn't reverse sweep or anything. It was actually like 3-1 I think in the end. So yeah, but it was still tons of fun, and I was happy to see the team I was rooting for win 2 MCCs in a row. But that'll change. Then there was MCC 11. It's orange because it was the first Halloween event. Orange is Halloween, and blue is Christmas themed, and then pink is for Pride, which has only been one, so just so you guys know. So yeah, this happened in October of 2020. I'm going to give it a high B, I'd say. Or a low A. Actually, I'd give it a low A. This was the first time I got to see Fruit and Grian team up, which is fun. I watched mostly Grian's POV. This also was, by the way, this was also Technoblade's last MCC before quitting. Or quitting in quotes, like just quitting canon events, because, he's in Pride later on. So, I mostly watched Grian here. Grian, Fruit, Ren, False. They actually got 4th, and it kind of sucked because I think Parkour Warrior cost them a chance at Dodgeball. I loved seeing Fruit and Grian get along so well, and even to this day, Grian is still snipping for Fruit after that. So I think it was overall a very fun MCC. I give it low A for sure. Or it was a decently fun, not very fun. Sorry. Next up, MCC 12. This is our first bad one. This is a D. So this one sucked for a variety of reasons. I'm in the MCC Discord. I've chopped through mini MCCs. This is the most widely hated MCC ever. So the team that ended up winning was Philza, Tapel, Wilbur Sutt, and I don't know, there's a George too, making George the next 2 in a row winner, because George also won MCC 11 with Dream and all those guys, and Carl. I didn't really talk about that because I don't think that was very significant to MCC 11's rating. But I was so sad too because the Hermits were against him, like Pearl and stuff and Cub. So, but that's not why it's bad. It was just bad because it was such an enjoyable event. And I was watching Grian's POV here. Grian was like F-Whip. He was with Ren. He was with, I don't think was it False? I think actually he was with False. That would be kind of weird if he was. If I ever got any teams wrong, by the way, I'm correcting them in the editing because I'm literally doing this off memory. And overall, they got really bad. It was just a really unenjoyable MCC. It was November of 2020s, by the way. Then MCC Jingle Jam happened, like December 5th, 2020, but I missed it. I didn't see it at all. So, yeah, I didn't even know what was happening, so we're not rating it. Then we had MCC 13 on December 12th. 2020. This was definitely a low A. I put it a little bit above some of these. I put it above 8, but not above 6. So this was Grian's first chance at Dodgeball. This is the first Christmas event, the first canon Christmas event, at least. Jingle Jam might actually count as the first Christmas event, although it took place like a week before or so. Oh, well, it did take place a week before. All MCCs happened on Saturdays, just so you guys know. Anyways, so Grian made it to Dodgeball, Purple Pandas. It was Grian's first time teaming with Pete, and as of December 2020, he's teamed with Pete 6 times. That's insane. So, yeah, obviously that started the Grian Pete duo. Grian was with False again. And he also had Carr on the team, too. They haven't teamed since, though. And they made it to Dodgeball and got reverse sweeped by Puns and the Lumina's team or whatever. But I'm actually not going to hold any of that against the event. It was such a fun event. Such a cool event. Christmas, There were some fun moments, too. Like, Dream was with Scott and Captain Sparkles, and he was also with Shovel. Dream ends up teaming with Captain Sparkles for 3 MCCs in a row. He was with him in 12, then he was with him in 13, then he was also with him in 14 later on. So overall, it was such a fun event, and a good way to end the season. It was a pretty emotional ending to the season, actually. I love this event, by the way. This event was awesome. MCC 13 was awesome. Can't believe it's already been over a year since then. Then there was the gap. So the season MCC 13 was the season 1 finale, and then there was a 5.5-month gap. It was so annoying, but then season 2's premiere happened. MCC 14, and this is a low B. This MCC actually might even be considered a C, but I think I enjoyed it a good enough amount to consider it low B. So there was controversy at this event. So the team that ended up winning was Aqua versus Blue, like Sapnap, Puns, Catherine, and some other person versus Scott, H-Bomb. Solidarity was there too. They ended up winning. Scott's team, giving Solidarity his first win or whatever. H got his 4th win. Scott got like his 3rd win from that, I think. It was a fun season premiere, just seeing MCC back and rewritten. Grian was paired with Pete. Martin was in the little wood. It was fun. Pete Green duo. Because remember, in MCC 13, right at the end, I remember Pete's like, "Good luck with your first win, Grian." And then, oh, didn't know that they'd be teamed up next time. So it was overall a fun-ish event. But the controversy was there was a new Ace Race map, and Scott got frickin' first by a long mile. Because no one else knew the map, but Scott had actually tested the map, and it was actually a really bad decision on. I think even the people that like loved MCC, like including the creators, actually said, yeah, that was bad in MCC, and they got so much hate because I'd be like, well, Sapnap should have won then because maybe you wouldn't face him in dodgeball, but apparently to stats, I think he would have faced him anyways, so it wouldn't even make a difference. But yeah, either way, S Major did have a unfair advantage there, so that was a mistake on MCC's part, and that definitely lowers it down, but I still think it's a below B. Then we have MCC P21. This was June 2021. By the way, I forgot to mention MCC 14 was May 2021. Be big brain. So this one, it's a very low S tier in my opinion. So MCC P21 was Pride. It brought back Technoblade. And this event was weird because Twitch streamers couldn't stream because it was a YouTube gaming sponsor. It was a donation event, and YouTube decided to sponsor it. So, well, only YouTube streamers then. So a lot of Twitch streamers just streamed on their YouTube accounts. Some weren't allowed to stream at all, like Wilbur Sut and Tommy Innit just weren't allowed. I think their contracts actually binding them down. So that sucked for them. So lacking the POVs, obviously it was still such a fun event, dude. Holy shit. So the Pink Parrots, we talked about the Pink Parrots, the Orange Ocelots, the Aqua Axolotls, the top 3 teams. I don't know why I said 4. So basically, Technoblade came back, and he was put with Grian, Wilbur, and Solidarity. Jimmy. I always call him Solidarity, just so you guys know what I'm talking about. So that was fun. But then Wilbur's fire alarm went off in the middle of parkour tag, and then they had to swap him out for Filza, but they had to play all parkour tag without, or the rest of it. I think only like a few rounds of like 3 or so without Wilbur, and that could have and definitely did cost them a few coins at least. So that sucked because he was literally AFK. So literally, what happens? People just get a free tag on him, and then they had to swap in Filza for the battle box round, and then after that, Wilbur was able to come back. It was like a false alarm too. Like that's so annoying. Well, that's why you don't work in an office building, Wilbur. Anyways, Wilbur and Grian got along so well because Wilbur's a Grian fan, surprisingly. Wilbur from the Dream SMP is a fan of Hermitcraft Grian, and Wilbur, arguably more famous than Grian now, still was just so humble and watches Grian. That's honestly astonishing. I love Wilbur Sut for that. And it started the simping arc, which every MCC or so, or maybe sometimes they'd skip a few, Wilbur and Grian have like interactions. They still haven't teamed up since then, though, so it's sad. So yeah, so we actually had the first ever 5-person team. Don't worry, there's going to be 2 more this season. But yeah, the first ever 5-person team since Phil's technically had to swap in for a bit. And then survival games happened, and guess what? Literally the top 3 teams were top 3 for the survival games. So it was very tense, and Pink lost to Orange by 2 coins. Technically 3, because 2 then it would have been tied. And then I think they would have counted older games, because MCC actually invented a system for that. Back then, I don't think they didn't have a system for it, though, but now they do. But I don't think anyone's ever going to tie right before a dodgeball. But that was insane. If any of them, then you're like, wait, if Wilbur's fire alarm hadn't gone off, then they could have made it to dodgeball, and Pink maybe could have won against Aqua. Yeah, that's what's insane about it. Anyways, then we had Orange was a pretty chill team. They had Martin, who's in Littlewood. They had Tapo, they had Pearlescent Moon, they had Squishy, and then they were against Aqua, which had Rye Guy, it had Creekcraft, Robloxer, it had Illumina, and then it also had Gizzy Gaza. And they had insane dodgeball, one of my favorite dodgeballs ever. Of course, Orange was winning 2-0, and then they get reverse sweeped. And Aqua wins, and it's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing dodgeball overall. I was rooting for Orange, but still so much fun, honestly. Aqua was a chill team, so I would also root for them if they were against a different team. And Pink, I honestly hope we won. So overall, it was a fun event. Introduced a lot of people that had been on waitlists, so just kind of let them play. It had a Pride theme, which was pretty chill. Then we get into MCC 15. I'm actually going to give it a C because I'm feeling nice today. So MCC 15 was July 2021's event. I was on a farm at the time watching it. It was pretty bad, but it was a cursed MCC. Then we had the second 5-person team. Again, I know, just after the last one. It was Green's team again, too. When Pete's internet went out, yeah, Green was teamed up with Pete, Shovel, and Pearl. Then Pete's internet went out, and he actually stayed for like half the tournament, and then he left like on the 4th round, I think. I think it was like after Stanza time. And then they swapped in H-Bomb, 94. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, it sucked. I've actually had many debates, because I've also talked a lot on the MCC Discord. And I had mini debates. Don't do that. Oh no, I just fucked everything up. Hold on a minute. There we go. Much better. I want to see what that would do. I guess it would do that, and it did. It's actually well loved. It's very well loved by the community, but it's not. They also introduced a lot of new people too. I know Pride introduced some new, but this one introduced like a lot of new conventional people, like Rambo, Ant Frost, 5-Up, like that would become regulars for MCC. and I know Scott was friends with all of them, so it made sense they were introduced. But man, it was just such a bad MCC for me. I still don't like it. Like, it's a hot take. I don't like this MCC. And Dream Nap was an OP duo, and it was balanced. They had Michael, and I think they had Michael and Quackity on their team or whatever. But I don't think that was a fair balance. I know the numbers show up, but I still don't think it was very fair balance. They 3-0 Dodgebolt. Like, the team they faced in Dodgebolt stood no chance against them. It was Jack Manifold and Captain. They beat fucking Captain Sparkles. He got to Dodgebolt finally. But Captain Sparkle still lost because of these dudes. Like, dude, I was so disappointed. It's like it's actually the most disappointed I've been with a result of an MCC ever. It wasn't balanced. 3-0 Dodgeball. I literally don't give a shit what the stats say. It was unbalanced. Sucked. Then we get to August 2021's MCC. MCC 16. This was in late August 2021. There's a pretty large gap between those two MCCs. I think it was like 4 weeks, maybe a little more. This one, I'm going to give a low S. I loved this MCC. Holy, I love this MCC. So, this MCC there was very OPT. Green got a super OP team this MCC. Purple Pandas, he was with Scott, Fruit, brought Fruit back, and Joel, Smallish Beans. That is an OP team. And they got first by a lot, dude. But they got taken down, sadly, by Pink, which was Dream, Finster, Bad Boy Halo, and CPK, which also is an OP team, but slightly less. And this is a very well-loved MCC. Dream got his second win in a row, so Dream also became a two MCCs in a row winner or whatever. I really don't care. And this time I actually wasn't mad that Dream won, because it was such a fun MCC. It was kind of sad seeing Green panic a little bit. He had Green sometimes has anxiety attacks, and that sadly happened during this dodgeball. But Green almost pulled off a 1v3 here. He got it to a 1v1, but then he died, sadly. And it was against Dream, too. 1v3 with one of the people being Dream, but he sadly got destroyed by Finster at the end there. But overall, it was a fun event. It wasn't a reverse sweep. It was actually 1-3. So Pink had the way bigger advantage in Dodgeball there, although they weren't overall in the games department better. There are also some fun POVs to watch too, like Pete's when Pete's with Pearl, classic. Also that one guy Preston was in there too, right? Spifey was here too. Spifey comes every few MCCs. It was awesome. Also, this is my first MCC at college. MCC 16 was my first MCC at college. Then we get to MCC 17, only 3 weeks later. That's mostly because of Rising that was going to happen in early October. So this is about mid-September 2021. And I was on a road trip at the time. So I watched this entire road trip, so my reaction was pretty scuffed, but I actually got to watch this whole MCC and relax. So, this MCC, best MCC ever. Now, this is also kind of a hot take-ish. It's mixed. It's either you love it or hate it. There's a lot of people that hate it because of how unbalanced Orange was, but I personally love it because of how so many good moments happened in this MCC and how hard Orange worked. It was amazing. And Green, which we'll get into in a sec. So, this MCC, there were a few teams that were of note. Dream and Tommy finally teamed up. Rambo was with Scott and all those guys. Wilbur. Rambo had a streak of being with Wilbur every MCC, basically. But they were cool teams. And Orange was overpowered. It was Pete, Green, False, and SB. I thought SB was actually a weak player when I watched this, but SB is actually a strong PvPer, so it's yeah, that kind of was a little OP. So Scott wanted to give Green a second chance at getting his win, so he gave him another OP team, 2 MCCs in a row. But I made a dodgeball again first against a weird team, the Simmers. So half of the Simmers, it was only half of them. It was Vixella, and it was Christic Zeus, Rick Dragulin, and James Turner, SMH. And the weird thing was the Simmers were actually in the previous MCC as well. And they were with Fruit and Illumina as well. Now, Fruit and Illumina is a duo that is too overpowered, but it was allowed because the Simmers are some of the worst active players in MCC. Sorry, Simmers, I love you guys still. I love you, Vix. I love you, Dragulin. I love you. Well, Dragulin wasn't in this. I love you, Zeus. And I also love you, James Turner. Don't worry. But you're still bad. Anyways, getting into it. This was an intense dodgeball. It was 2-2, down to the freaking line, and boom, all of Green's teammates fall. Vixella fell as well, but it was Green in a 1v3 versus Fruit and Illumina, and also Zeus. So what does Green do here? Destroys Fruit, who has a very bad dodgeball record. I'm serious. Fruit is a good player, but his worst game is dodgeball, I swear. And then he gets Illumina, he keeps dodging, and he fucking, after so many trading arrows, this is considered, even the haters consider this the most intense and best dodgeball ever. Green pulls the clutch. I was on my road trip, but I had just arrived at my destination. I was staying in the car. I was so happy. I jumped out of my car. I was screaming, yelling, because Grian's my favorite MC YouTuber, right? I literally watch his POV every MCC. So seeing him pull a 1v3 clutch against some of the best players in MCC, it was honestly so amazing, and it changed MCC forever for me, and it also was a highlight of 2021, along with many things, of course. Utterly insane. It made my day. It actually made my entire weekend. It was so much fun, dude. I never have felt so happy just watching an MCC ever. I'm sad that I couldn't get my full reaction for it. Anyways, that was amazing, and man, it was so many good moments. Everyone cheering on Green was hilarious, and it was honestly one of the best moments in MCC history. Then we had MCC Rising. I only was able to watch like the beginning because I actually had to go, and I wasn't really dedicated enough to actually watching it. I'm gonna give it a medium B, to be honest. I don't really know what to say. I don't even know why I'm rating it because I barely watched it, but whatever. I'm rating it. It was in early October 2021, by the way. Then in late October 2021, we had the second Halloween event, MCC 18. I was at a camp while this was happening, but I still gotta watch it. It was a low B MCC. I'm actually gonna put it below MCC 14. I actually didn't really enjoy it that much, but it was still okay. Green was with H-Bomb, Gemini Tay. Gem had actually joined at MCC 17, and he was with Nikki Nia True as well. So it was pretty fun. They dressed up as the Captain Hook crew. There were a lot of cool costumes too, like the winning team Mustard Mummies, which was Sapnap, Sylvie, Scott, and Tubbo they were like the mystery gang crew. It was pretty awesome. And how Grian's team got last place but still had such a fun time is amazing. And they became the Green Grians. They all changed their skin to green, and Green changed his skin to Mumbo. It was so hilarious. They surprised him. It was overall a fun MCC. Overall. And then there was Fuchsia too, which was Dream, George, Quackity, Awesome Dude. I'll just call him Sam, actually. So yeah, overall, chill MCC for October 2021. It's a canon one. Then we had MCC All-Stars, a long-hyped event. Long-hyped. And it was a non-canon event. So it doesn't actually have any color because, it was birthday themed. Like MCC 12 was also birthday themed. All November events are going to be birthday themed because November is when the first MCC happened, MCC 1. They always host it around the birthday, Saturday closest to the birthday or whatever of MCC. This one was actually a high B. I'm going to give it a high B. I'm actually going to put it above MCC 5, believe it or not. This MCC was okay. The teams were very unbalanced. Yellow Yaks and Red Rabbits. Red Rabbits was Dream, George, Bad Boy Halo, Sapnap. So they were guaranteed to win, and they won. So I had a fun time watching it, though. Green's team, which were Green Geckos, was Green, Pete. Yeah, Green got a team with Pete again. Yay. Cub Fan and Rye Guy, which was cool seeing Rye Guy team with those guys because he usually doesn't really team with those guys. Rye Guy's pretty good. He actually won. Remember, he was literally the dude who won the P21 championship final, whatever. Dodgeball finale. I don't want my brain struggle to say that. But he done pretty well in other MCCs, too, so it was pretty good. And it was his first time back for this actual season other than Pride. Yet again, no, because this is non-canon. He was supposed to be an 18, but he actually missed his flight. But he ends up being a 19, so it's fine. There were some fun teams. That's what the point of MCC All-Stars was, to bring back some old teams. They brought back Blue Bats from MCC 9. Blue Bats were doing well until the final game, and they actually fell and sucked. They got like 4th or 5th after that. It was sad. But don't worry, Fruit wasn't let down yet. And it was fun seeing MCC All-Stars had the best aftermath ever, having everyone in the call together. For once, we actually had Grian talking with the Dream Team. It was pretty chill. Scott just congratulating them. Sylvie talking about Pokemon with Sapnap. I love the Sylvie Sapnap duo. And there were so many cool duos that came back to this MCC. Trios, quads, They brought back the MCC 1 winning team, Purple Pandas, which was, I think, Kurtzy, Michael McChill, Kara Corvus, and I don't even remember who that person is. I think it was just one of those dudes. And they they took an L, sadly. Oh, and also, there was another 5-teamer, the third 5-teamer. So basically what happened is there was Wisp, Solidarity, Smallish, and I don't even remember who the other teammate was. And Wisp Internet went out, so they had to get Creekcraft, yeah, from Pride, Roblox guy. He was the swap-in. He was a Pride winner, so he was allowed as a swap-in. Oh, and this event also got Rising winners. JoJo and Bushi were Rising winners. They were teamed up with, they're on Cyan Coyotes with Puns and Captain Puffy. And there were so many cool moments from All-Stars. I loved All-Stars. It was great. Then we get to the final MCC that has happened, MCC 19, which was also a Christmas MCC. This MCC was actually not as good as you think it is. I'm actually going to give it a B, but like a middle B, right about here. Right below MCC 13 law. So basically, explain this MCC for you guys, alright? So basically, there was another OP team. It was Teal, which was Sapnap, Tommy in it, Philza, and Sneak Snag. Now, Sneak had never won. Philza won twice. Tommy Hasn't won since 4, MCC 4. And they've been in dodgeball since MCC 5, so it's been over a year and a half since his last dodgeball, dude. That's insane. Oh, so Tommy needed a win, but they gave Sapnap another OP team. Obviously, they won. They are well predicted to win, and it was very disappointing. There were a lot of complaints about the fact that why would they give Sapnap another OP team? Like, why? He's gotten so many wins already, and Sapnap became technically another 2-in-a-row winner because of MCC 18. MCC All Stars doesn't count, by the way, because it was non-canon. It's like, dude, even Dream didn't want Sapnap to win. Sapnap is actually my least favorite S tier, just because of how fucking toxic he is. Like, I actually have issues with Sapnap. As well, he's always cursing, he's always, like, saying bye, and he's a relatively annoying player. The only way Sapnap can redeem himself is to be teams of Cub Fan, which apparently is a duo that's been long requested by Cub, at least, for a while. By the way, Scott said he's going to nerf Sapnap finally. Thank God, dude. And they actually ended up playing against Cerulean. So Cerulean was not expected to make it. It was actually going to be between Red and Emerald for Dodgeball. But then Fruit, similar to what he did in MCC9 with the Blue Bats, because of the fact that it was a Survival Games finale, Fruit was able to dominate for his entire team. All of them popped off. Cerulean Candy Canes, by the way, was Fruit, Ryguy, Sam, and Gumi. Gumi's a new player. He's not that good. I don't think she really does much Minecraft, but she popped off. She did very well this event, and she even did very well in Dodgeball. But sadly in Dodgeball, they actually got 3-0'd. It was a sweep, but it wasn't a clean sweep. Because each round, or the first 2 rounds at least, it actually ended up being a 1v1 both times, but sadly Teal was just slightly winning because they were slightly better. And it was a fun MCC Dodgeball, but it was sad seeing Fruit lose. But overall, I put it at medium B, slightly to the lower side. Still above 14, though. I actually still have this above 14. Maybe I need to make a little adjustment here, actually. Let's, yeah, I'm going to move 19 to right above 18. Like, actually, I think 19 is a little worse. So, yeah, 19 is honestly one of my least favorites of the season, next to 18 and 15 of Season 2. Also, my least favorite's 12 from Season 1. So that's it, guys. So these 3 I can't rate, sadly, because I didn't watch them live or whatever. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. This video was over a half hour raw. Jesus, it's taking a while to edit. But I'm done now because you're seeing this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And maybe after Season 2 ends... Season 2 is not over. This tier ranking is public, by the way. So, yeah. Bye.